Hey folks, Quillopolis here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play City Skylines. We are once again in Quillopolis, and it's interesting, the last couple of cities I've played on sort of live streams and things like that, I've tried to do things like, oh, I'm not going to use any highways or do anything like that, you know, see how it works, which is interesting. But at the same time, it's kind of fun to sort of be back to a city where we have highways. I mean, we're not trying to maybe overdo it too much, and we're trying to keep the interchanges simple. But the traffic flows a lot better. This thing here, I'm still not sure about. It's interesting. It actually doesn't look particularly realistic necessarily, and I don't think it's very good for traffic flow. But we'll leave it in there for now until we figure out how it's going. But yeah, other than that, we've got residential demand. We've got commercial demand. Not much in the way of industrial demand, but I think if we built it, it would still grow okay. We've got some new areas over here with the purple goop all over the place. Nice train stations working well over here. We do have our passenger rail on the same rail as our industrial rail, which can sometimes add to some bottlenecks, but hopefully not too much. This may not be 100% there, although this is not the bottleneck. I don't think. I think the bottleneck is more over here. Because these guys are going. What's going on over here? Where's where and why is there a slowdown? So that's a new train that just spawned in. No, they're all trying to go south. But they're not trying to go into the train station. There's another one here, another one here. Okay, wait. So these trains are going north, but are on the wrong side. And these trains are going south, are on the right side. Oh, you know what we may want to do? I'm not convinced this is exactly the right structure. But if we provided an alternative like that for them to leave, I think that's the issue. Okay, one train somewhere just disappeared, and then we've got sort of like slidey, teleporty stuff. But I'm wondering if some of these trains are just trying to leave not south. Where the hell are they trying to go? I'm really not sure, actually. Alright, this will be the train that's interesting. I'm thinking this one's probably going north. Oh, I forgot. I can use my my traffic inspector on trains to try to figure things out. They are flowing now, so hopefully it's okay. It could be that this little section of road is actually just slightly not long enough. It's actually a possibility here. Where are you trying to go, Mr. Train? You're trying to go south? So why don't you go south? You're not really being blocked in, are you? There we go. Okay, maybe we're all fine. Wow. Well, fine for various values of fine. Maybe there were some old trains when we loaded in. They just hadn't started flowing properly. We might be okay now. We'll see how it goes. Cross our fingers that traffic is correctly flowing at this point. We'll come back and revisit it a little bit later. Cars are still a bit of a problem because we have these little, some of these, I don't know, intersections are really non-optimal. So I think what we're going to have to do, we've been trying to avoid, you know, too many complex things, but we're going to need some sort of four-way intersection over here. And I'm going to try one of the other ones that I have in my little library. Although, you know, I say that. This is pretty narrow. Most of the intersections are very large. I think, actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to veto that. We're actually going to go ahead and... Ooh, that was a little bit... oh, that's the autosave triggering in. We're going to leave those going that way. We're going to build our own. We're going to roll our own little traffic interchange here. Maybe we'll actually do a bit of an elevated roundabout-y thing. How's that sound? Like them apples? We're going to go and say start from here. Can I fit that in there? Nice. And about there. It's going to be hard to make it exactly round, but that's okay. It's going to be round-ish. Round-ish, which is what we're going for here. Now, the question is, I wonder if we can fit, this is just a 6-lane road that's under there. Can we sneak under the round part? Oh no, there's a pillar there. I have to bulldoze these two bits because they put pillars where we want to build our road. Straight road connection to here, and then can we go up and fit that in? No. What I'm gonna have to do, I mean, there's another way to do it, you know, with multi-levels, but I'm just going to try to see if we can sneak something in here. If we sort of start it this way, get kind of a minimal little connection there. It's not exactly lined up, but it'll hopefully do. Like that, and then we can switch back to our highway tool. We're using the sound barrier version. I'll use the curve tool at this point. There we go. We'll just have to make sure to place the pillars ourselves. I've also got the mods. I can turn off the pillars if need be to make sure that things fit. Ooh, this one's actually having a little bit of problem. Start a little further away. There we go. I'm sure I can get this a little bit straighter. Pretty good. Okay. So if we do something like that, then we need to give people the ability to get on and off. Now, I'm still going to use just the simple on-ramp, which might be a little too thin. But we're going to give it a go. What if I just use the straight tool right away like that? Interesting. Why is it not happy with this? You can sort of come off first and then try to get down? Is there really something in the way? Oh, we got one that fit. Where was it? Right over here. Bit of a bend, but it's hardly the end of the world. Now, this is going to create a few more traffic lights down on the ground, of course. And this is going to lead to a certain amount of weaving. But it might work out. And we'll get off over here. Like that. And like that. And then one more over here, which comes down there. Alright, I don't know if that'll help or hinder, but we'll see what that does. This is a very, very short little road segment, and there are going to be intersections. Now, if this were connecting to highway bits, it wouldn't be as much of an issue because we wouldn't get the lights here. You know what I'm actually tempted of doing? Is something like that, and actually getting rid of this bit here. So to split the traffic that wants to go this way from the traffic that wants to get on this roundy bit to basically go in the other direction. It's a little bit of an overcomplicated design, but it might do something. Heck, we could do the same thing over here. Again, sort of splitting that load. Although, who's ever going to get over here? No one. No one will ever use this. Unless they're using it for a U-turn. So, it actually doesn't have much purpose. Oh, and they're using it to do the wrong direction as well. So, this will work better and more sensibly if this was connecting to a highway. So, which is kind of too bad. Because I think I was trying to keep the interchanges simple. I was allowing highways in this map, but trying to keep it a little simpler. But we're going to have to go and complicate it up just a wee bit over here. I'm going to get rid of this little thing as well. We're going to end up moving this connection. So let's go ahead and use a couple of highways. So we're going to be going with the straight tool. Actually, I guess over here, but that's already occupied by a post. So we're going to have to sneak it under the posts. Really? Why are you doing this to me? I guess I can come at a little bit more of an angle. Still awfully snappy. Okay, we're going to start it like that. Actually, that's not too terrible because, well, it's sort of terrible in a sense. But what we can do is have them go to separate intersections over here, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of that because the post will get in the way. But let's say, especially if we use a bit of a curve here. This and then up. Now we're still going to have to leave in a bit of pre-made road over here. All right, let's try this again. We're going to use the straight tool, and we're going to go that way, and then from the other direction, like that. And that's what we're trying to connect to. This one's going to be a lot trickier. No, or maybe not. Like so, and then if we complete this bit, like that, and then the same thing on the other side, or sort of spread the load out. What is it? What is this? Oh, an incineration plant. Oh, let's move that right away. That's not going to help things. Well, apparently that's a structure as well, which is no longer going to have road access, so we may as well... No, 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 don't demolish. Just move the police headquarters. Like so. Then one goes the other way. Goes just underneath that and then connects up. Alright, so now we can have smoother flowing ons and off. Now, we can still do the thing where we sort of shortcut this and bypass the roundabout, but then it ensures they can only turn right. Which is sort of the idea here. Like that. Like this. And like that. All right. So it doesn't look terribly pretty because these lines aren't terribly straight. And these intersections are very close. Why are anyone doing any U-turns? If they want to go over here... Oh, I missed a bit. That's the problem. I'm going to go from here to down there. So they can use that, but I think they will prefer this. So the same thing here. There you go. I'm hoping that most of the traffic goes that way. The fact that they can do a little U-turn here is actually like a terrible, terrible mistake. And what we need to still do is connect the two towns together. We'll just connect them a little further away. Let me use the straight tool to connect up to this intersection. There we go. Because we still have to reach the other side of town. All right, so because of my my previous little design, there's still going to be a bottleneck of people trying to make a U-turn here, and this is a very short little road segment. Although you'll notice no traffic lights. That's not actually true. I'm actually surprised that it needs them at all, but I guess it's not completely inappropriate. All right, let's let that run for a little while and see exactly what happens. I think this will be okay. There might be too much traffic going from one side of town to the other. What we might want to do is, we've done this before in previous cities, where we want to make sure there's another path, right? Like, something like this. Oh, I'm on the curvy tool. That's not what I want at all. Alright, something like that. 2 levels up. Oh, it was making it just barely. There it is. And then sort of connecting over here. So anyone trying to get from one side of the little town to the other can do that. It doesn't look pretty, but it's functional. So we'll have to come back and do it a little prettier. But we'll have to confirm that it actually works first. The other thing here is there's no way to get from this little connection down to there, which I don't think I like. Even if you can't necessarily get back up. I think I want some of those. Because that way people from these different neighborhoods can get on the highway here if they want to connect over there, as opposed to using some of the local roads. Yeah, right away there's some cars that are trying to use this sort of stuff, which will probably improve the flow, because I think there's a lot of cars going from here that are crossing over here to over there, and some damn nonsense, and basically just filling up a lot of these little connections in ways that we don't really want. I think I am going to redo this bit, because I don't like the way it looks, but I think the principle of it still needs to exist. And I don't like that this has a traffic light system. I could force it by making 2 separate one-ways. But I think I'm going to stop messing with this right now because a lot of this traffic might actually take an alternate route relatively soon. Just doesn't have it in there yet. And certainly a lot of cars here actually want to get over here and maybe don't need to tie up this intersection. For example, if I went and did something like that. Now, this again will probably create more traffic lights, and because this bit is so short, that's double plus on good. But there's probably a lot of cars that are interested in doing that. Because this wasn't a traffic light before. Well, it still doesn't have a traffic light on this side. So it might be alright. And we'll revisit. How are the trains? Are they still acting kind of wonkily? A lot of these guys want to go down here. Well, some of them do, some of them don't. I wonder if I should connect it over here or if that'll just make things worse. You know what, let's run a parallel line for a while. It's going to look like a proper sort of train shipping yard. This bit being a little short, oops, might be a little less than ideal. See, now we actually want to use the straight tool. Whoa, another teleporting train. But that way, anyone who wants to go south from here doesn't actually have to take this bit. To the point where we can actually get rid of that. And then none of this needs to exist. I'm betting that improves this quite a bit. I still don't like that this bit is so short. But it's either going to be short here, or it's going to have to be short up there. Like, if we connect up in here, well, if there's not an actual road segment, if what it does is go right from here into this little interchange, ignoring the fact there's, yeah, a little bit of a support there that we've got to bypass. If it's all part of this, we might actually not be quite so screwed. This complicated intersection, a lot of people are going to have to wait, but there's no little short bits of track, which are usually the problem. So the waterworks. Does someone not have water? Oh yeah, water availability could use a little bump. Alright, let's come back to that after we fix some of the water problems. Let's grab some from downstream over here. We will have to run some power out, though, so maybe right over here. I mean, downstream is often bad because that's where the pollution runs. But in this case, we don't have any pollution on this particular source of waterway. So I think we're going to be alright. Meanwhile, decent utilization of things over here, which is really good. The easier we can get people to a highway and encourage them to use that, the better things will be overall. Things are not cripplingly bad over here, which is a pretty weak endorsement, but it's an endorsement. Are we low on power? Oh. That is going to be a showstopper, my friend. We need a lot of these bad boys. Alright, we're now running a surplus by a fair bit, so good. So yeah, I don't like this, but I'm not sure like what in the end would make me happy. I mean, I certainly don't like this at all. I mean, the simple solution might actually be to let people go straight through over here. Instead of having this. If this just connected straight through over there. Or from here to there and from somewhere, I don't know. We can leave this here. Still have the problem that these intersections are awfully close together. I mean, I suppose I could get rid of this little bit, but would that really improve things? I'm not convinced that it would. I think that would just lead to people having to path in an awkward kind of way. I don't know. I mean, maybe messing around with this was not the right way to go, but we'll see. Meanwhile, how are the trains? Okay, I think the trains are flowing much, much, much better than they were, which is good. Again, we still have a complicated interchange going on here because there's 2 stations plus the through fare. But overall, yeah, this is much better. And again, the more things use the train, the better. Now, just because there's a train bottleneck doesn't mean people aren't using the train. It just means some of the goods might get lost and you still get less efficiency overall. This place is working surprisingly well, which I sort of find hard to believe, but all right. And this bit here is not the problem. It's this bit that's the actual issue. Which leads to an interesting question. What if this didn't intersect here? What if this went over? Most of this is probably, well, not all of it, but it could go over this road and then have an off-ramp. That might be a thing. So we don't want to have these guys wait as much. Actually, getting out of town is fine. It's just getting into it that's the problem. And with that in mind, like, while this is, like, close intersection, we could... No, see, then people might make turns going the other way. There would just be a big bottleneck here. Well, cars going in one direction to come off this. Well, what probably makes a lot of sense is getting rid of that. Because I think there's a bit of a bottleneck and delay that happens there. So we can improve that. And then we'll leave it be. We'll just come back. All right. Fair enough. We know what we haven't done any work on for a long time is this area over here. We built it up and we, you know, did things and it's very functional, but, you know, we can probably improve this. Now we're using a lot of these 4-lane roads, which we know are not particularly good, but what the hell, we'll keep going with the theme. I'm going to extend this as far as it can, so maybe around there, and then another one over here. And we're going to try to see if we can construct a nice-looking arc that feeds off this and comes into here. Actually, let's build the arc first. I think that makes a lot of sense. Right along the rail. Like so. And then connect it up with the straights. Ooh, oh, there it goes. Thought it wasn't going to let me for a second. And then we could go straight through there, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's what we want. I think what we're going to want is... There we go. One more notch. Nope, that's the same one. Arg! There we are. And leave that there. And something like that. Good. Let's put in some high-density residential over here. Actually, we're going to do the whole thing like that. There's actually some low-density residential over here, but it would look a little stupid if we kept that. So, you know what? We actually will get rid of that. And put in the high-density as well. There's a man for it, so it'll come in pretty quick. And let's go and continue, again, with the 4-lane road over here. Just along the rail. So it's fine if there's actually no zoning on the other side. And then again, one squeezes in. We could de-zone things, I suppose. Drop that in over there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll leave it in. It's okay. And then I don't know how we want to fill this space. I think something like that is fine. Looks like we need to make sure we've got water going everywhere. I don't know why people want clean drinking water. You know, they're just fussy. No one's got any gumption anymore. When I was your age, we had to eat chunky water, and we liked it. Full of extra protein. We used to make fun of the poor kids who didn't even have rats in their water. I don't know what they had instead. I'm just here drawing water pipes. Okay. Do I want to grid this up? Do I want to have curvy lines? I don't know. Maybe curvy lines aren't so bad. Come off of this, there's going to be a little overlap. And we sort of have to end in the back door of the university there. Is that a plopped building? No, so I should actually be able to do... There we go, something like that. I think... I don't know. We might want to break up that connection. It's possible that there'll be too much traffic that does dumb things we don't want. There we go. Just a series of curves. Alright, something like that. You know, it's a bit haphazard, but it's not necessarily bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint bucket in some high-density commercial, since we have a demand for that. Then we'll make a layer of office space to separate it from the residential we're going to place next. Get a bit more, because there's quite a bit of demand for the commercial. Especially they're happy, and I think, do we have the commercial funding in here? Yes, we do. The big and small business enthusiast stuff, so they're going to be very happy to exist in town. So there you go. So this will be a little bit of office space, since the offices don't care about noise pollution, as far as we can tell. Good, and then we'll go and zone all these bits high density residential. I think that's all filled in over there. Good. These guys are complaining about power, but they won't be as soon as the rest of the buildings pop in, which they should. I could speed it up a little bit more commercial, but the other thing I need to do is probably put in some parks over here. Oh, that's a tiny guy. I wish these pictures would be updated. There we go. That'll be a lovely little park there. And maybe we'll get a plaza in here as well. Or a Japanese garden. Voila. And there we go. That's technically enough to lay the power foundation, which I think is going to be lovely. So all these should come in. We don't have a ton of cash in the city, I just realized, although we're making a relatively decent profit. Population is only 50,000. And considering the low population, we are having some pretty dramatic traffic problems, but basically restructuring this area over here would resolve that. But this is actually not horrible. It's halfway acceptable, but this is no good. This interchange isn't awful, although we aren't using these little bits anymore. We are using this one, but they're actually considering this to be shorter, and you know, that's understandable. But yeah, the bottleneck is over here. And it's just when you're going from highway to non-highway, that's going to happen. Now, one of the things that could alleviate quite a bit of pressure is if we put a little turn on, turn off right over here. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of that. Oh, I'm on the straight tool. That's not going to look right. A little one over here. And a little over there. That'll probably go a long way towards helping out a few things. It might lead to too much traffic over here. I'm hoping it's mostly just the local traffic, but I guess everyone who goes into this area might come off over there, which would be bad. It'd be nice if more people used over here, but this would actually be a longer trip for most of the destinations. So this might actually backfire on us. We'll reevaluate it in a moment. I guess we'll have to reevaluate it next time. Thank you very much for watching another episode of our Let's Play of Cities Skylines. Again, if you have any comments or questions or criticisms, go ahead and leave them in the comments, but be nice, be nice. And if you like the video, hey, why don't you like it? See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.